Mark and Paulette here, the two travelers in Mexico, and we're going to answer some questions that have been posed by some of our subscribers. The first of which being, how and why did we decide to move abroad, basically? And I would say that we started thinking about that, probably about 2015 or so.
Yeah, I think around 2015.
Yeah, we did some exploratory trips. We took a look at Portugal and Spain.
Ecuador twice.
Ecuador twice, yeah. We went to Portugal and Spain 2015. We went to Ecuador once in 2016, once in 2017. All were beautiful countries and they had their charm in their own way, but in the end, I think we just decided that they were a little too far away.
Right, because we have family and stuff in California, and that's where we're from. So we wanted to be close enough if we needed to get home, we could go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
When you're living abroad that far, it's a little bit hard to do that.
Yeah. So we made our first exploratory trip to Mexico in 2018, and we landed in the city of Guanajuato, which is a beautiful city. Lots of uphill and downhill, but very just beautiful.
Well, the colors.
The colors.
Exactly, were just fabulous there.
Yeah.
I mean, everything is brightly colored, all the housing and stuff like that, and it's up on a hill, so it's just this beautiful, picturesque scene.
And we were actually there for about 3 weeks, but we ventured out from there. We visited some different places. Morelia was one of the places that we visited, but we also went to places like San Miguel, Querétaro,
Hidalgo?
Dolores Hidalgo, and that was just a day trip there. But by the end of that 3 weeks, I would say that Mexico had pretty much knocked our socks off as far as what we liked about it. And so from there, we really went back home and started planning for the move.
Yeah, and because it's so much closer to California, it's not a problem if we had to hop a flight and get back as soon as we could. Much shorter distance for sure. And we fell in love with the people and the beauty. And I always use the same line all the time, but it is the God's truth.
Yeah.
Because of the culture, the beauty, the people, and the history of Mexico. We just absolutely fell in love with it.
Yeah.
So then we went back home and started planning.
And it took us, planning is about a year and a half, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
We had to
sell our house.
We had to
get rid of all that stuff.
Liquidate some stuff. Some were better about it than others as far as the liquidation goes.
That's true.
We were also waiting for a good point for me to retire, as I was just finishing up working on a large project at work. So we wound up retiring in November of 2019, and shortly thereafter began the drive to Mexico.
Right. And lived in Morelia for 1 year. That was our starting destination. It was between Morelia and Querétaro. And Mark wanted the Morelia, so he went on that for the first year. Yeah. Rare, but it happened.
Rare, but it does happen. Yeah.
So we stayed in Morelia, did some traveling while we were renting a place there, fully furnished place. That's the best thing that we can ever suggest that people do, is when you make the move, rent fully furnished for at least the first year.
Yeah. Until you're sure that that place is going to be your final landing spot, and you'll venture out from there to do trips.
Right. And that's what we did. We did a bunch of trips from there to pick our next destination. Because like I said, we knew that Morelia was going to be our starting point. We weren't sure that we were going to stay there. And as it turned out, we didn't. because on one of our drives going back to the United States, we passed through San Luis Potosi, because there's really not much videos on San Luis like there is San Miguel, I don't know, other places within Mexico. I can't think of a lot of Cabo, Mexico City. Anyhow, so we passed through it, heading out, and I think we stayed like a night here or something, and we really liked what we saw. So when we came back, we stopped again.
Yeah, we spent a few days here the second time through. And I think it was really the second time that we decided that San Luis was going to be our next place to live.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. I think we were here for like 6 days or something.
Yeah.
Checked out as much as we could. And then we still had a couple of months on our lease. I think 2 maybe, something like that. And so we decided to go ahead and give our landlord a notice. And we were lucky. We got our deposit back. Sometimes I hear that doesn't happen in Mexico, but we were lucky and we got it back. And then we made our move here. And we're here for less than a year. And we decided to buy a place. Mark had an idea that this was going to be home. I did not think that. I just thought this was going to be our second destination to check out, because we'd been to another place that I was thinking of for expat communities or areas that we've checked out was like Oaxaca. That was another area. Huatuco, that's a big area. We checked those out too.
Yeah.
But we just kept coming back to this area, which is a good feeling. I mean, we went to Aguascalientes, we went to Zacatecas, and all these other places after we came to San Luis, because we were still doing some traveling, and we wanted to see if there was something better still out there. And we knew, again, we were renting furnished for a year, just to see if there was something that really caught our eye more. And thank God for us, it did not. Aguascalientes was a very close runner-up, but we like everything that San Luis Potosi had to offer. And so that's why we ended up buying a house. And this is our home. This is our destination. Mexico is our home.
Yeah, and then that's exactly the way I feel about it too. When I mentioned to Paulette that I thought that San Luis, we might be here long term, that was one of our trips driving here. But then I pretty much forgot about having said that after that until Paulette reminded me several months later, after we'd already bought this house and moved into it, that I'd actually said that.
Of course, I thought he was crazy at the time.
Yeah.
Because, first of all, we had this rule that we weren't going to buy for 2 years, if we were going to buy. And we had a lot of other areas still to check out.
Yeah.
But, sometimes things don't go the way that you plan. And, it worked out well, though.
Yeah. It didn't really go the way that we planned when we originally moved to Mexico, but, we just roll with it.
Yeah.
Mexico's always full of surprises, and things aren't always going to go the way that you think, or you hope they'll go, but it is what it is. We have absolutely no regrets moving to Mexico.
No, not at all. No regrets whatsoever. And my only advice that I do give people that are considering about retiring in Mexico is basically you got to be flexible. You got to be flexible. And I'm a type A personality, so flexibility doesn't always come easy for type A's.
Yeah, and that was one of my main concerns about you, is that we're, being a type A personality, and Mexico is pretty much the opposite of a type A country, and that, things just don't happen on a timely basis. They most of the times do eventually happen, but for a real type A that might drive someone crazy, but Paulette has adapted pretty well.
Yeah, I did have my crazy moments. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong at all. I have had my moments. But, you know, I mean, there's a couple of times I told Mark out of frustration, that's it, I'm going home. And Mark turns around and says, but this is your home. We don't have we don't have a home.
That's true.
in California anymore, in the United States.
It'll be a short commute because you're already here.
Yeah, because I'm already here. But, you know, people say and do things when they're frustrated. And so, you know, a couple of frustrating moments that took us, it was probably incidences where we had to, I don't know, deal with, what was it, IMSS or something, like 3 or 4 times, and having to keep going back and things like that. IMSS, for those of you that don't know, is the Mexican government insurance that you can buy into as a foreigner. And, you know, just other things that we ran into.
Waiting for contractors that never show up.
But we have no regrets moving here whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, do we miss family? Yeah, but like Paulette says, there's always FaceTime or something like that.
So anyhow, we just wanted to kind of give you a scoop when we decided that we were going to be moving to Mexico, or moving abroad. Actually, was about 2015. We knew that our money would get us much further moving out of California, because California is very expensive. And poor Mark, I wasn't working anymore, and Mark, he would have to work until he's 65. And that wasn't the case moving to Mexico. That wasn't the only reason why we moved to Mexico, because there's plenty of other areas that have low cost of living. But it's just Mexico totally stole our heart. I mean, we love it. We love the people that we've met. Like Mark said, you know, and I've said, we have no regret about doing it whatsoever. You know, the hardest part, as we've mentioned in previous videos too, is leaving your family. That is hard. If you can do it, you know, great. We were able to do it because, as we talked about before, we're just taking like little pieces from different videos, I guess, on this video. But, you know, we have 2 grandchildren, and they're 16 now. So it was a perfect time to leave. They were 14, and they were getting more into their sports and friends, and Grandma and Grandpa were taking the, you know, backseat to everything, which is normal. That's life. So we figured that was a perfect opportunity. You know, our kids are all grown. So for us, it was like our time to go ahead and live our lives, and do what we wanted. And Mexico was a place, like I said, that was close enough to California. If we needed to go back and visit. And also, besides being close, you know, our love for Mexico made it an easy decision that this was where we were going to be. And what was good is we were both on the same path. You know, it's hard if you get one spouse that doesn't want to leave, one that does. There can be some issues on that, and you guys have to make a decision. Are you going to move abroad or are you not? Luckily, I think I was the one maybe that talked about moving abroad. I can't remember.
I think you really brought it up first. But then I was on board with the idea right away. Yeah,
he was on board with it. And, you know, like I said, that was around 2015, maybe as early as 2014. We kind of started the idea of moving abroad when we retired. And then we didn't actually make the move until November of 2019 to Mexico. And fast forward, you know,
here we are.
2 years and a couple of months. We're loving it. We're absolutely loving the decision that we made, and we couldn't be happier.
We're just sitting here in front of a camera now talking to you about how much we love Mexico. And I want to throw in one other bit of advice, because I know that there's people that are considering retiring, but they think, oh, I'm just going to work a year or two longer.
Oh, good point.
You know,
yeah.
you can always think of a reason to work a year or two longer because ultimately that's more to your Social Security or more to your pension. But at some point, you know, like for me, I could have, you know, had a great paying job. I could have always thought of a reason to work longer. But I also wanted to have some good years left after I retired to do the things that I really want to do, as opposed to, you know, say working till I'm 65. Well, I retired just a couple of months before my 60th birthday. But I did have that mindset for a little bit. Well, if I work for another year, I can, you know, make this much more money. But at some point, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, in the long run, I think you just kind of have to weigh it out.
Yeah.
And for us talking about it, he had a good job, and you know, his pension is basically what got us both by.
Yeah.
And you know, that was a decision that was right for us. You guys have to do whatever's right for you, and hopefully have no regrets about it. But if you did have a regret and you did move abroad to Mexico or wherever you're thinking about moving, you know what? There's no shame in it not working out and trying something else.
Yeah.
No shame at all. At least you tried it. At least you were that small percentage that did it. You know, where other people think about it and talk about it, but they don't do it.
Yeah.
At least you should be proud of yourself for doing that move, even if it didn't work out.
Even if it didn't work out, because you still tried it, you still wanted to follow that along.
Exactly.
You know, later you may have decided that it didn't really fit you, it wasn't a good fit for you, and that's fine. But don't feel bad about, you know, having.
Yeah, don't beat yourself up over it. You know, just don't beat yourself up over it. It's a learning experience, and you know, it could have been the same for Mark and I.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have. It could have been that Mexico did not meet what we were expecting.
Or it could have met what your expectations, but not mine, as an example, when you're a couple. So you might have to work through that too. Thankfully, in our case, it has met and exceeded both of our expectations.
Right. Exactly. So, you know, we hope that what we put out on the videos is probably more towards retiring in Mexico, I would think.
Yeah.
You know, we named our channel The Two Travelers in Mexico because that was exactly what we were planning on doing. And then when we got here,
COVID hit.
And so things were shut down and things like that. And then we ended up buying a house and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, we're not going to change the name of our channel now. You know, but we do a lot of videos on, you know, medical in Mexico, buying in Mexico, life in Mexico.
Rental tours in Mexico.
Right. Stuff like that to give you guys some ideas what to expect. So,
and we interview other people that have moved to Mexico to get their thoughts and impressions on Mexico, something different than ours, as an example, because everybody's got their own ideas about what Mexico is to them.
Yeah, exactly. So if you guys do like what we're doing, we hope that you will subscribe to our YouTube channel and join our Facebook page where there's other postings on there by other YouTubers, and we do a lot of talk on Mexico. People ask a lot of questions about Mexico, and it's a private Facebook page, so you do have to answer 2 questions to go ahead and join the site. So please remember to do that. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting there pending in La La Land until somebody messages you that you haven't, answered the questions, or one of the questions, or both of the questions, or none of the questions. We hope that you will take that into consideration and join our Facebook page and learn what you can on Mexico. And we hope that we present Mexico through our eyes to you guys the best way that we can describe it. So it's just not our opinion. I mean, although we're the two travelers in Mexico. But, you know, we try to give you guys other perspectives too to help you. And again, we hope that what we're doing really benefits you guys, and you can learn from a lot of the information we put out there for you.
And of course, feel free to ask questions. Ask your questions in the comments sections, or if you join our Facebook group, ask questions there. We try to answer them as quickly as we possibly can.
I'm going to close by saying, as always, from the two travelers in Mexico.
What she did.
Bye, guys.
Bye.